Yeah, getting in good trouble. So that is a phrase that came from John Lewis, congressman, ordained minister, and longtime civil rights activist who passed in 2020, I believe it was. And we are going to be honoring him, his day, pardon me, July 17th. That will be John Lewis Day. I'm going to talk more about him in a little bit, but that's where my title came from. And I wanted to think about what getting in good trouble means from our metaphysical perspective, from the home of truth perspective. So I wanted to talk about a quote from each of the last four people, last four ministers who spoke here at the Home of Truth during this time when we are celebrating Courageous Spirit. And I thought I would give the quote and see if you could name who said it. And I will even give you, I'll say who it might be. I'll say the last four. So there's Christopher Brown, Reverend Deb, Rita, or Reverend Johanna. So the first one is, and I think this is really what good trouble, getting in good trouble means. Stand in your truth, knowing it makes a difference. Stand in your truth, knowing it makes a difference. Anybody? Next try. Anybody else? It was Reverend Johanna. It was Reverend Johanna. And here's one: live from the heart, be true to yourself. What? Rita, and it was Rita. Yes. All right. Remember who you're walking with, meaning we're always walking with spirit. We're always walking, we're part of the universe, we're one with the universe, and we're always walking with spirit. Okay. Well, who's left is Christopher Brown or Reverend Deb? Reverend Deb. Oh boy. Yes, it is Reverend Deb. And so there's one last one. Have the courage. Remember, this is the month. The theme is courage. Have the courage to look inside yourself and see all the colors. Very appropriate for Pride Day, but all the colors. It's Christopher Brown. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So this whole month we have been exploring courage. And I think for all of us that sort of the whole metaphysical message, the deeper truth of it is that we are one with spirit. There's no somebody out there. We have that divinity within us. We have that that essence within us. And so we know that we are one with spirit, but sometimes we forget. Somebody says something or does something, or we read something on our news feed or something. Something riles us up, gets us a little off kilter. We get upset. And so we're not at that point acting from spirit. We are in that neat place. And one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk, says that when the seed, he says we have all the different seeds inside us. It's like what Christopher said, see all the colors. So we have the seed of love and generosity and peace. and happiness, but we also have the seed of fear and anger and sorrow and all those kind of seeds. So when our seed of anger or fear or sorrow gets watered, that seed grows up in that moment and becomes uh, more obvious, more kind of sometimes takes over us. So that is when you need a way to come back to knowing who you are, to know, to be with spirit. That is when you need to be able to calm yourself, center yourself, and come back to that truth that you are one with spirit. So, there are lots of different ways to do it. And sometimes we do it by walking in nature or by listening to music. Sometimes we want something that's quicker, that we have access to right away. We've had at my house, we've had 8 different exchange students from different countries. And the first one we had David from France. Now courage, the word courage it comes from the word coeur, which is heart in French. So I would sometimes say, oh no, I have to do this or that. Oh no, I'm scared. And he would come up to me and just very softly and gently, he would touch my heart and say, courage. And it was so calming. It was so, I just went right back to myself, back to be connected to spirit. So that is a way. Sometimes there's just an image or a word or a feeling that you can connect to. But I'm going to teach you a 4-part practice that you can use. I am one of the first 4 certified conscious embodiment instructors. Conscious embodiment comes from mindfulness and the practice of Aikido. And Aikido is the martial art that allows the idea that you can protect your attacker as well as yourself. The I of Aikido means heart or harmony. Ki is energy and Do is the way or the technique. It's the way of harmonizing energy or the way of heart energy. And it's actually in Aikido when there's somebody that is in some way verbally or whatever attacking, the idea is that that becomes an invitation to come back into your own center and invite them into theirs. But I'm going to teach you the 4-part centering that allows you to do it. And after I teach it, Nancy will hand out, and you will have a handout to take with you that you can use this practice. And I'm going to invite you, usually in these kind of things, we want to close our eyes and go inside. I'm going to have you keep your eyes open with a soft gaze. And this will work if you are sitting, it will work if you're standing, whatever position you're in. So first, you're just going to sense the earth beneath you. Whatever part of you is being supported by the chair, the floor, all connected to Mother Earth. And then sense the sky around you, above you, the spaciousness. And from that place, you will sense that like a tree, it's almost as if you have roots and then this trunk rising up towards the sky and the sun. So from there, you're going to take a breath in and you're going to let your exhale be a long, sustained exhale. There's a few different ways to do it. I usually do but you could also do, or you can even do, the idea is that you want to elongate your exhale. So when you take your breath in, then let your breath flow down into the earth, long exhale. And in your own time, when you're ready, let that next breath go up towards the sky. And then another one again, down into the earth, like roots. And then from there, you are going to sense the space around you, 360 degrees around you. And imagine that your awareness of space behind you is equal to your space in front of you. And that your awareness of space on the left is equal to your awareness of space on the right. So now there's this 360-degree spaciousness around you and you in the center of it. And from there, imagine the space below you is equal to the space above you. Now you're in a bubble. You are in this bubble and you are the center. You are the nucleus of your own atom, so to speak. And from there, again, sense gravity. Feel the weight of your shoulders, arms, hands. Let your head be just resting on the spine all the way down and let Mother Earth hold you, ground you. And from there, imagine what would it be like if you had a little more ease in your body? What would it be like if you had a little more ease? A little more ease in your breath. A little more ease in your gaze. If your eyes are closed, let them softly open. Just ease in your gaze. And from this place, you are now in a centered space. You are now in a centered space. You've been able to come back. And this is what we call our basic practice, our basic 4-part centering in conscious embodiment. I'm hearing that little whine. Is there a way to, yeah, maybe. We'll play with that. I'm hearing it. So this is a practice, and Reverend Nancy Joy is going to hand this out so that you can try this out for yourself. Now, in conscious embodiment, we do all 4 parts. So that's breath, space around you, gravity, and then this quality. But you could use any one of them in any one situation. It might be that it's your breath. That's the thing that brings you back, just that. Or it might be that sense of space. Sometimes you feel up against the wall, but now you have space. That could do it. Or sometimes it might be just gravity, just feeling, I can let my shoulders rest. I can let my body rest. Or it might be the quality. I gave you ease, and that's one of the most, I just think it's one of the qualities that really is beneficial. But it could be courage. What if I had more courage in my body? Or it could be spaciousness. What if I had more spaciousness in my being? Or what if I had more gentleness or grace or strength or whatever it is? So that is a word you can play with, whatever it is you're needing, whatever it is that feels like, I'd like more of that. And your whole body says, yes, I want that. So this is the centering practice that I am going to invite you to play with over the next week or longer if you want. And what that does is it puts you in a place where courage becomes accessible, where all of your good seeds, seeds of love, of peace, of joy, become more accessible. But definitely today we're going to talk about the seed of courage. How do we water that seed of courage? So being able to come back and settle in and be grounded is a way to start. Now, courage, there are big acts of courage that, we the wow, whoa, that was a big act of courage. But then there are the little ones, just the little ones that we might do. Um, and I want to give you some examples. And I also want to say that sometimes we're in a situation where we're suddenly thrust into courage is needed at that exact moment right now. We also have times where we choose, ooh, in this situation, I'm want to bring forth courage in a certain situation. So Ellen mentioned that I did the fire walk. I chose that. I didn't suddenly find myself on a bit of hot coals. No, I said, I want to practice being how to have courage. So I'm going to walk on hot coals. And I didn't suddenly find myself taking a black belt test. I spent 7 years practicing Aikido, and then I elected to take the test. So there are times where you want to step up. You go, okay, I'm gonna learn Zydeco dance. I never did it before. I'm gonna be courageous and do that, which I did. But there can be sometimes ones that you're thrust into. So, for example, when I was 3.5, I fell and I broke this arm. It was broken and dislocated. Had to go to the hospital, and um, I had been exposed to chickenpox, so they put me in the isolation ward. This is in the times where my parents were allowed to come visit me 1 hour a day. And so when my mom would leave, I would cry. And the nurses told my mom secretly, don't come see her. It just makes her sad. Luckily, they've learned a lot since then. So she advised my mom not to come. My mom is a quiet, introverted person, but she went, no. Uh, you're asking me not to come? No, I'm coming. I get my hour. I'm going to be there. That was an act of courage, with love. She wanted to be there for her poor little isolation ward daughter there who had to be there for a week. So that's an example of it just was thrust upon her. Another one was I was visiting my brother who lives in Tokyo, and his Japanese wife and his daughter, who's 13, Shannon, who I adore. And we got to go to, we have Disneyland, they have Disney Sea, SEA. And so we were going, and we had to be on the train, and it was rush hour. And I am very claustrophobic. And I didn't think about it beforehand. But when you get on the train in rush hour in Japan, you don't have a choice. There is a crowd of people behind you, and you are literally, it's like a wave, swept onto the train. And I found myself in the middle. There are things that you can hang on to. They were not near me. Nothing to hold on to. Men in suits all around me. I mean, packed like sardines. And my claustrophobia went, ah! And I was terrified, and I thought I was literally going to start screaming. And I looked at my little 13-year-old niece, Shannon, and I said, I can't do this. And she looked at me, and here she was thrust into this situation with me. And she said, oh, you can't do this. She got it. She said, put your hand on my shoulder. And she looked right at me, and I did. She said, put your other hand on my other shoulder. And I did. She said, just look at me. I mean, this is her courage just came right out there and took care of me. Luckily, on the next stop, some people got off. I was able to sit down. But sometimes the situation just demands it in that moment. Now, the other times that you choose something, and I'm going to give an example of my dad, who is a He signed up to be in World War II, and he became a paratrooper and a medic. And their mission, they were flown over Germany and dropped behind enemy lines on purpose, but they missed their drop zone. And he was in a field surrounded by Germans and one had a machine gun. And there were also some Germans in foxholes. So all the men scattered to try to get in foxholes. You sometimes had to fight somebody to get in your foxhole, which he had to fight two different people. So he also was the medic. He only had a knife. He had to, when he saw one of his men wounded, he had to crawl over there to help them. So this is a situation where courage, he had planned to be there, so he chose it, but he also, in the moment, had to be courageous. So you will find in your own life that you have both of those that can happen. And I want to tell you about one other person who chose to be courageous, and that's John Lewis. When John Lewis grew up in Alabama, I didn't even know this. When he was 5 years old, he started preaching to they lived on a farm, their chickens. He started preaching, and at some point in his life, he went to school, seminary, and became an ordained minister. But he became a civil rights activist with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. He was the leader of the 1963 March on Washington. They crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. And one of those times, he was beaten till he was almost dead, called Bloody Sunday. But he then, as he was a civil rights activist, he became a congressman for over 3 decades. And he fought for all kinds of rights. Definitely all the civil rights for voting and all that, but also for LGBTQ, for gun reform, immigration reform, all kinds of things. So this is somebody who courage must have been his middle name. He was brave, he was strong, he was willing. So I'm going to read a couple of quotes from him. When you see something that's not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state of being, it's an act. And each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself. And he said, my dear friends, your vote is precious, almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool we have to create a more perfect union. And he said, so I say to you, don't give up. Don't give up on the things that have great meaning to you. Don't get lost in a sea of despair. Stand up. Stand up for what you believe in, because we are one people, one family, the human family. We all live in one house, the American house, the world house. We are Black, we are white, Hispanic, Asian American, Native American. We are one people. And he's the one that said, you got to get in good trouble. So I want to end with doing with that invitation. I want to end with a meditation. And for this one, you can just get as comfy as you want. Close your eyes, whatever feels good to you. And imagine that you are in the softest, safest nest. A nest that's cozy, comfy, and is cradling, and feel yourself cradled by spirit. The most gentle, most loving, most nurturing spirit. A spirit that I might call the great mother, the mother of us all, the spirit of mother. And she says to you, as you are here cradled, she says, you are brave, you are strong, you are smart. I love you. But you also have a part of you that gets scared. And I love that part too. You must take good care of that part. You could say to that part, hello, my little fear. I know you. You're my old friend, I know. You must take care of that part. Comfort, calm, listen to what it needs. And you must do this with your anger also, and your sorrow also. When you take care of your fear, your sorrow, your anger, that waters the seed of your courage. That brings it forth. It waters the seed of your love, of your peace, and your courage. It unites you within yourself. It reunites you with spirit. And as you are reunited with spirit, you can get in good trouble. So know that you are cradled this way all the time. And as you come back here, know that spirit is cradling you. Know that you can come back using that 4-part centering or any one part of it. Know that you could tap your own heart and say, courage. Know that you can get in good trouble. Thank you.